Hello Rattlers, it's that time of year we're going racing, but we've got a few jobs on the car to do first. So we've had it dynoed, as you all saw, made 280 horsepower on normal fuel, should be plenty, but one thing they're very keen on at Santa Pod, and I understand why, is oil leaks. And we have, if you see here, oil dripping from the gearbox. So today's job is to take this drive shaft out, undo these 3 bolts, and try and reseal this joint here with some grey glue. I'll give underneath a good clean as well, because we've got some CV grease that keeps coming from this CV. We do run at a very funny angle because this car's very low. So I'll give it all a good clean under here, and a brake clean. This was what we used last time. This is why we need to check the gearbox oil, because we put a cloth underneath it just to catch it. But really we want to sort that out. So we're going to do that today, and then we've got to remove the O2 sensor there. For some reason, after it had been running on the Q16 fuel, it decided to start reading funny, so we've got to re-zero that sensor and then see if it starts giving us an accurate reading of what the engine's doing, because it was reading about 7, even though I've just had it tuned. So I don't believe it for 1 second. So it's happened before this, and I do know that when you start switching fuels, it can make these go a little bit funny. So we'll re-zero that. Hopefully the sensor's not knackered, and then we should be a bit closer. I'll nut and bolt check the car, go through all the gearbox mounts and engine mounts, and then we'll give it a clean. But we've got 4 days now just to prepare it. I'm on my own today, and Dennis, I know, is here in spirit. He's geeing me on to get this gearbox out, get this shaft out. I'll get cracking. Enough talk. So we've had a little clean up there now. All the grease is gone, so that's better. And we're at the point where we're just gonna take this housing off. I thought I'd just show you around a little bit under there. Most people don't get to see this. So that is a Tony Law exhaust. It's a custom manifold, 4x2. You see how long the primaries are there, really long, quite a thick diameter. And it goes into 2 and then into 1. That's a really nice exhaust. It helps this package work together. We've also got, you can't see there, but the gear linkage. That one is from, I've forgotten the name of it now. I'll have to come back to that. But he's a really good guy. He knows his Peugeots inside out. He makes a lot of nice gear. And that just gives me a really higher lever in the car and makes the gear changes a bit more precise. The gear changes on the Peugeot are quite good anyway. The 1 to 4, they're quite easy to find. But it's just nice. Just a bit of a refinement really over the standard Peugeot. It stops the rod ends popping off as well. That's a quite common problem, especially when you're going for a hard gear change. Back in the early days, that's one of the problems that we found. In there we've got a TTV light and flywheel. And that's with a single plate clutch with no springs. It's 4 paddles. What else? We've got some really small brakes. I can't remember what they came off or who made the bracket, but that just allows us to run. When we used to run 10-inch wheels, we don't run 10s anymore, we run the 13s. In the diff, we've got a Trans-X plate diff, and that's been, you can set the preload on them, and that's set really tight. This doesn't go in the street much, so it's just set to really lock those front wheels, get both of them spinning at the same time. Really helps with the launches. And that's about it from under here. A solid engine mount, which you can see there. Steering rack's off it's a power steering model. You just disconnect the hoses there, because obviously I don't run power steering. It just makes it slightly shorter, the throw from either side, a bit quicker. You don't really need that for... That was done more when it was a road car. It made it a little bit more lively. It don't really need that on the drag strip. And I'll come around the side. I'll show you. These are our limiting straps that we use. They're currently cable tied up. So we run this car on its lowest setting. And to stop the front end lifting as we launch, we just have these straps which are connected to the top mount up there and to the old anti-roll bar link. And that just stops the spring opening up. Motorbikes do it on the front as well, help them stop wheeling. We're just trying to keep this front end planted, stop the weight transfer to the back. That's a real problem on front wheel drive cars. Not a lot of people do it like that. You can get really fancy suspension where you can adjust the sort of the, what's it called? The I can't remember what it's called, but how fast the spring opens up. But I haven't got that ability on here. I could just make it harder or softer. So on 60 foot, we run a 1.6 at the minute, which is not bad, but there's plenty of room for improvement there. I think the extra power, hopefully, will get us launching that a little bit harder and drive us right through that 60 foot. Because I think it can take a lot more power. I just didn't have it to hand. Ooh, there's the compressor. I'll leave it there. You've got to laugh sometimes because I've just come to use my parts washer. I've not used it in a long time and it's all rusted up. But I've chucked it in there anyway. I'm not sure how old that fluid is in there, but it's been in a long time. I'll give that new part a clean. And then I thought, well, I've no idea how old that seal is. And I remembered I like to keep things, excuse the mess. And I've got a little box hidden away. And on top there was a new seal for that gearbox, and I've not spoke about this yet, but if you'd like to have a look, I actually found the problem. It's actually broke the casting. That's why it was leaking out there. I have no idea when that's happened or how, but luckily I've got another one and we'll build that one back up, get it all nice and clean. Job's a good one. I will put some grey glue around this seal just as belt and braces. It probably doesn't need it, but I don't want it leaking again. And we'll button it all up and that'll be a job good. We'll call it a job good. That's the saying. Alright, hang fire, we'll get back to you. So I took the seal out. I was going to put the new one in and it's the wrong size. I broke the other seal by taking it out, so I would never recommend doing this. But needs must, I haven't got another one. I thought I did. This is the original seal that was in the gearbox. I've managed to take it out quite gently. I'm going to put that in and it'll have to do. But never no other choice, so needs must. I'll do that now. Just on the free air calibration, so that's what it's reading currently, 22.3. And the light's steady green, which apparently means it's heated up. What you do for this is the LC2, so you take the sensor out, disconnect it, put it on for, I think it's 45 seconds to a minute, and that flashes red. Then after that, turn the power off, connect the sensor in open air, turn it on for another 45 seconds, and the heater will come on and it'll go steady green. And then you turn the power off, put the sensor back in, and we're going to see if it actually reads anything good. So this should start now. I'm going to let that warm up because 11 is probably where it's due for the enrichment, if you can hear me. And when it's warmed up a bit, it should go to be about 14, so we'll see. Oh, it's reading about 13. We're up to the temperature there now. So, it's not bad. Better than the 7 that it was on. We'll call that good. And on to the next job. I actually need more gearbox oil. It's a good job I'll turn this off. Yeah, so I thought I'll check how much gearbox oil's in it, and there's a little, you fill it up, it's supposed to be 2 litres, but there's a little drain plug on the side and you fill it until it comes out of there. Nothing came out, so I thought I'll put a litre in and still nothing came out, so we've lost quite a bit of oil and I need to go and buy another litre. So it's a really good job that I checked that, because that would have got really hot, that gearbox, with no oil in it. We've got this side, we've got the slick on now, and you can see that the ride height is pretty much set because we've got it on the straps. I've also fitted the air temp sensor down there in the corner, because I did used to just have it dangling on top here, but you can pick up the temperature of the air from the hot engine, and that's a bit more accurate. What it does then is starts reducing the timing, so it's basically going to affect my power a little bit with a false reading. That's going to be measuring the right air temp. And that's it really. I'll just show you the drain plug on the side. This is where it comes out the side. Now before anyone jumps on the comments, I did lower the car to its ride height before I made the assumption that there's no oil coming out, because you can see that we've got it on a bit of an angle right now, and that wouldn't be the correct level. Here's a little shot of the straps. And that's it. So I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I will pick it back up tomorrow when I've got more oil. I might show you you dripping out the gearbox. How exciting.